Hi, I'm Kristen McDermott, a family therapist passionate about helping teens and their parents thrive. This video is about strengths, one of the fundamental components of my resilience model. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to answer three questions. What are personal strengths? Why are they important? And how do we develop them? So, what are personal strengths? Short answer, things you're good at. But I think it's helpful to break it down a little further. So I divide strengths into four categories: talents, skills, virtues, and personality traits. Talents are those activities and attributes that come naturally, like having a great singing voice, being a fast runner, or being able to memorize the periodic table without even trying too hard. You get the point. Talents are often called natural talents for a reason. We don't have to work hard at them to be good at them. On the other hand, skills are strengths we choose to work hard at and develop. Of course, it is often the case that we choose to work hard and develop our natural talents, so there's definitely overlap between talents and skills. But the point is, skills are acquired and developed. They don't necessarily come naturally. We choose to focus on them. And then there are virtues, which are character traits we deem important and choose to uphold. These include things like being honest, disciplined, responsible, kind, and compassionate. The list of virtues is long, but the point is, people who demonstrate virtues display inner strengths that make them feel good about themselves. Finally, there are just certain personality traits that don't exactly fit into the category of talent, skill, or virtue, but are strengths nonetheless. This includes things like exuding quiet self confidence, making people feel comfortable, being able to make people laugh, or being a good shoulder to cry on. There are just certain personality traits that people appreciate about each of us that make us uniquely us, and I consider those strengths. There's one other thing I consider a strength, though I'm sure someone might challenge me on it. I believe our interests are actually strengths. This is because if we give ourselves permission to nurture our interests, they often become strengths. We want to spend time focusing on them, and that builds knowledge and expertise and skill. So I think it's important to help kids identify and prioritize their own personal interests and not to let those get pushed aside by the long, long list of shoulds and must do's that we heap on them in our attempt to make them well rounded and college ready. So that's what strengths are, in my book anyway. And why are they important? Because strengths are a foundational building block of self esteem. Here's something you might not have thought about: we have to earn our own sense of self esteem. Just because our parents, teachers, friends, or coaches think we are worthy and deserving and lovable doesn't mean we agree. But if we spend time using our unique constellation of talents, skills, virtues, and personality traits and pursuing our personal interests, we will feel good about ourselves. Think about it. It feels good to do things we're good at and that interest us. It just does. And that builds self esteem, knowing we are good at things and demonstrating that we value them. There are other reasons why owning and living in alignment with our personal strengths helps us be resilient. For one, we can use our strengths to get out of a bad mood. We can also use our strengths to build a strong social support network, which is a critical component of resilience, because we can meet friends and mentors who share our strengths and interests. And finally, we can create meaning in our lives by structuring them around things that matter to us and that we feel good about. So, how do we develop our strengths? First step is to talk about them. I often tell the story of my daughter, who grew up with me talking about things like emotional intelligence, resilience, and personal strengths. And for years, she could name a bunch of strengths. But then one day, somewhere in middle school, of course, when insecurity runs high and we cannot help but compare ourselves to others, she couldn't name a single strength. I asked it innocently enough, thinking it was a throwaway question, but she just looked at me, and I was reminded of how difficult it is for a 13-year-old to say something positive about themselves, even a well-loved, well-adjusted 13-year-old. We as parents have to normalize talking about our strengths. We have to make owning our personal strengths and being able to say them out loud in front of others an important thing that resilient people do. From there, we can help make sure the activities our kids spend their precious time on actually align with their personal strengths, the things they want to nurture in themselves. Owning their strengths helps our children answer that fundamental question, who am I, and feel good about themselves. So that's it for this video. As we end, I invite you to think of 3 of your personal strengths and consider starting a conversation with someone you love by sharing with them what you think one of their strengths is.